Do you think starting your own web design agency is complicated, that it requires a lot of technical skills, that it's difficult to acquire customers, or that it's expensive? Well, I'm here to show you that it's not. And in this video, I'm going to show you the exact 4-step framework I use to scale my web design agency from 0 to 50K per month in monthly recurring revenue. I've spent a lot of time over the last 6 years trying to build businesses. And there's been many things that I thought I needed to learn, taken a lot of time out to learn these things, to later on find out that they're irrelevant and I wasted my time. At the same time, I've also spent a lot of money trying to build things, trying to implement things that just didn't work. And it was a complete waste of money, which is why I'm here to actually explain to you how you're going to start, manage and run your web design agency and actually start making money with your business. So look, I've tried running multiple businesses in the past and they failed. I've tried drop shipping, that was too expensive. I tried SMMA, that was too complicated. When I started web design, I think the reason I've been so successful boils down to these 3 points. Firstly, how easy it is to find leads. Now, it's a pretty sustainable business model because there's millions of businesses being created every single year. So there's never going to be a short supply of people to reach out to. In terms of selling my service, now look, everybody needs a website. It's that simple. However, not everyone needs marketing. I ran into this issue when I was doing my SMMA, my digital marketing agency. Not everyone actually needs marketing. As well as when I was doing my dropshipping phase, not absolutely everyone needs your physical product. But every business, particularly small businesses, they need a website. So in terms of selling the service, it's much easier than all the other businesses that I've tried. Now, in terms of implementing and delivering my service, now look, I don't know how to code. My coding skills are useless, but what I do is I actually use a website builder, which requires no code at all. And there's actually loads of softwares out there that help you to deliver and run the service for you. And when I say help you, it actually does it all for you. So all you really need to know is how to sell the service. And that's the exact sort of beginning framework I've been using over the past couple of years. So as I mentioned, in my agency, I follow a 4-step framework. The first step being outreach with a goal to find interested leads. Now, what a lot of people do is they get caught up on niche selection. Now, guys, I can't stress this enough. It really doesn't matter until you're on sort of 10K a month or more. Now, when you're on that 10K a month or more, I do highly recommend you niche down, but you don't need to do that when you're first starting. We can have another discussion on that in another video. But what I actually recommend you do is pick a niche and stick to it for one day. On the next day, pick a different niche and stick to it. Doing it this way, it's going to be nice and efficient, and switching niches every day is going to keep things fresh. So in terms of outreach methods, what I recommend is cold calling, cold email, and social media. Now, I've tried all of these methods, and the focus on this video is actually going to be cold calling, just because the benefits and the efficiency you get out of cold calling is going to be more significant than cold email and social media. However, what I recommend you do is always be cold calling, definitely, but actually combine different outreach methods together to become an absolute machine. And this is what I do. So what I used to do is wake up in the morning. I would have automations set up for my cold email. I would grab a load of email addresses and I would put that into the automations. Then whilst that's running throughout the day, I'll be making cold calls. This works really well because, as you can imagine, I'm outreaching to twice the amount of people I would be if I were just doing one of the 2 methods. In terms of social media outreach, it works, but I wouldn't recommend it just purely because cold calling and cold email is just way more effective. So guys, how are we actually gonna do the cold calling? Now, I'm not sure if you've seen this elsewhere, but it's an amazing method of using Google Maps. What you're going to want to do is go onto Google Maps, search for a niche in a specific town or city. For example, plumbers in London or roofers in New York. Now, there's going to be a load of businesses on Google Maps that don't have a website. What you're going to want to do is give them a call, and a pitch I like to say is something along the lines of, I found your business on Google and noticed you didn't have a website. If it's okay with you, I would love to create a free website mockup for your business, no strings attached. Now, this works really well because, who wouldn't want to at least see a free website mockup for their business? Everyone does. It's just a freebie. What I do just want to mention, when you're on your cold call, try not to mention any money at all. The purpose is to show free value and be giving them free value. Now, I've made a mistake many times without remembering to collect their contact information. Now, obviously the plan is we're going to build a website mockup for them, so we need some way of giving it to them. So make sure you're always collecting their email address at the end of that call. So your end goal, the goal of the cold call, is to turn a cold lead into an interested lead that's happy for you to send a website mockup for their business. Once you're in a position where you've got that interested lead and they're happy for you to send them over a website mockup, you can move to step 2. So on to step 2. This is actually creating the demo website or mockup for that business, that interested lead. Now, what I do is I use a website builder. I don't use any code. There's no code necessary. What I recommend you use is Go High Level, purely because all the features that they offer, but most importantly, the 14-day free trial. So if you're not able to get a client paying you on subscription within those 14 days, just create a new account. There's not going to be any harm. You're not really going to lose any work that you've already done. So yeah, you can go ahead, you can create as many free trials as you want until you acquire that customer, essentially allowing you to do it all for free. Now, how do you actually create the demo website for that lead? What you want to do is in Go High Level, there is a section where you can pick website templates. Now, there's pretty much every single niche you can think of. So what you want to do is select a template that's already in that lead's niche. You want to go in, you want to change the name that's on that website to the business's website. You can also change pictures if you feel the need. They might be able to send you some over in advance, etc. A good thing to also do is add their logo. Now, chances are, if they don't have a website, they don't have a logo. And this is actually going to work in your favor, because if they don't have a website, what you can offer them is completely for free. Say to them, I'll build you a logo for free, and they're going to love that because in their eyes, they're getting extra value. And what you're going to want to do is go on to Canva. There is a logo section inside of Canva. You just want to pick one you like and change the text in the pre-built logo to the company's name, company's initials, something like that. This is going to go a long way because your lead's going to appreciate and like the fact that they're getting this free logo on top of your service, when really it only takes you 5 minutes to make it. So once you've found a website template that you like in that lead's specific niche, you've made a couple changes. How do you actually go about sending it to them? Now, there's 2 ways to do it. You can either take screenshots of the website, put it into a PDF and send it over to them. But you can also, and this is what I do, is there's a free bit of software called Loom. You can record your screen as well as yourself. You don't have to record yourself, but I always recommend it. You can then go through, record the screen, explain the features, etc., and send it over to them via email. Now, what I actually recommend you do is once you've sent that email over to them containing either the PDFs or the Loom recording, is try and schedule a sales call. Now, you want to try and schedule this in a minimal amount of time possible, ideally for the next day. What you can do is obviously send over your calendar link or however you intend on having the meeting. And then I would always just give them a call, give the lead a call, just to say, I've just sent over the website mock-up, have a look at it over the next couple of days and we'll schedule a call. And that's pretty much it for step 2. So at this stage, you would have reached out to a lead. That lead showed that they're interested in you providing them a free website mockup. We've then gone ahead, we've used Go High Level to build that website mockup. Inside of Go High Level, we've picked a template in a specific niche that your lead is in. We've then edited it slightly and sent it over to them either via PDF or via a Loom video. We've then given them a call just to say, hey, we've built the website mock-up for you. We've just sending it over. When would be a good time to get on a call so we can discuss it? Once you've done all that, you're good to move on to step 3. So moving on to the sales call, step number 3. Now, a lot of people panic and they get worried about having a sales call. And this is another reason why I'm such an advocate for cold calling, because it teaches you all the sort of soft skills that you'll need when it comes into a sales call. So as you could imagine, if you've only been doing email outreach, when it comes to getting on a sales call, you're going to be a lot more nervous than if you've been doing cold calling the past few days, if you know what I mean. So onto the sales call. Now, what are the goals of the sales call? You need to show your lead that the value they will get from your service outweighs its costs. And the framework I generally like to follow within my sales calls is identifying a problem in my lead's business and then showing them a solution I'm going to provide. I then follow with discovery questions. Discovery questions are great because it helps your lead to understand for themselves why it is they need your service. I then like to follow with sort of a high level highlight of the service and what it is, as well as a cost analysis. So let's have a look at those in a bit more detail. Okay, so problem and solution. What is the problem your lead will be having if they don't have a website? So problem 1 is your potential customers are searching for your services online, and if you don't have a website, they won't find you. Problem 2, your business lacks credibility and trust. Businesses with a website appear more established. Both of these problems result in a loss of sales to competitors. So we've identified 2 problems in the lead's business. So what are we going to do? We're going to come along with a solution. That solution is having a website. How does this provide a solution to those problems? Well, number 1, it allows the business to be found online. And 2, it builds credibility and trust. And the thing is, guys, most of the time your lead knows that they need a website, that this is a problem, but they don't do anything about it. Sometimes it takes someone like you and I to come along and actually tell them that they need to implement this into their business before they do anything about it. But with that said, let's have a look at the discovery side of the sales call. So what is the purpose of the discovery questions? Well, it's pretty simple. It gets your leads thinking for themselves why it is they need your service. And they're fairly obvious / rhetorical questions that we're going to ask them. So let's have a look at some examples. So we have, what percentage of your customers do you think are searching online for services like yours? This makes them think about the potential online audience that they're missing out on by not having a website. We've also got, do you think your business is being found easily by potential customers in your area or industry? This highlights the difficulty of being discovered without an online presence and prompts them to think about how much easier it would be if they had a website. Do you think you could be losing out on business to competitors by not having online visibility through a website? This will highlight that they are losing business to their competitors by not having a website. So these are just some examples, guys. I have a load of different questions that cover all different areas of the business, and I sort of pick and choose which questions I'm going to ask the leads dependent on the flow of the conversation. So if you do want a list of all of those questions, let me know in the comments and I can give them to you. So moving on to the service highlights. This is always something I like to mention just to re-emphasize the problem and solution framework I mentioned at the start. The lead's got a problem and we're coming in with a solution. And I always like to mention about beating the competition. If your competitors have a website and you don't, you're losing out on business to them. Again, on the flip side, if you have a website and your competitors don't, you're winning business over them. I also like to highlight that customers trust businesses with a website. If they can't find you online, they might assume you're not reliable or established. So at this point in the sales call, you've identified a problem in your lead's business and explained a solution, which is going to be your service to that problem. We've then gone through a sort of discovery phase that really just hones down and helps the lead to think for themselves. and helps them to understand that the service you're providing is of use and that they do need it. We've then gone over the highlights so they can begin to understand what it would be like if we had our services implemented into their business. I then like to go over a cost analysis, which helps the lead to understand that the ROI they're getting on your service is going to be beneficial to them. So let's have a look. So let's look at this example. The average plumber in the US charges between $150 and $450 per job. So let's average that out at $300. If by implementing our service into their business, they're able to acquire an extra 10 customers per month, that means they're going to be making an extra 3K in revenue. Let's say we're charging our client $500 a month. With them paying $500 a month, they're going to be profiting $2,500. Now, in the client's eyes, do you think this is going to be worth it? Absolutely. Now, one thing you do need to bear in mind, now obviously these numbers aren't going to be the same for all the different niches. So let's pick roofers as an example. Roofers generally charge upwards of 10 grand per job. So if they don't have a website, by you coming along and implementing a website, if they're able to get an extra 1 client per month at the cost of 500, then they're going to be profiting 9,500 a month. What you need to do is sort of switch and change the cost analysis based on the niche and in the area that they're providing that service. Before you actually get on your sales call, what I recommend you do is do a bit of research on your lead's niche. Try and find out an estimate of how much they make per job and how much clientele they get through their websites. You can Google all of this stuff. So once you've combined the cost analysis with all the other things you've discussed in the sales call, your lead's going to have a pretty good understanding that the value they're getting out of your service outweighs its costs. Now, what I always recommend you do, if possible, is actually get paid at the end of that sales call. Now, obviously, that might not always be the case, but in terms of getting paid, what I recommend you do is actually send out a payment link. There's loads of different softwares that allow you to do that. When you're on that call, send them that payment link and try and get them to pay there and then. Okay, so once you've actually been paid, good job. We're now ready to move on to step 4, which is actually service delivery. Okay, so step 4, service delivery. This is actually creating the website. Now, the main difference between creating the website mock-up and sending it over to them compared to actually building the website and making it live is, of course, the amount of effort we're going to put into the website and the amount of things we're going to change. Now, the thing is, by using a website builder, I'm able to produce some pretty good looking websites, and it only takes me about an hour. So how do I actually do that? So first of all, what I will do is ask the lead to actually send over some images for me. If they don't have any images, that's fine. A lot of the website builders have some pre-built images into there, so we can just use them. I then change the text on the website. So what I'll do is I'll literally copy what's already on the website and ask ChatGPT to rewrite it. I'll also change the color branding if needed. So the goal is, guys, is to find a website template in each niche that you like that you can slightly change per client to make it unique. So what will happen is you will have a website template that you like, and you're going to be able to go in and just change the images, the text, the color branding, the logo. And just by changing that stuff, you're going to have a completely unique website that you can then give to a client. Then you have another client that comes along in the same niche. You've already identified that this is a good looking template. You can then come along, change those bits and bobs, and you have a completely unique website. So this is the exact way I've been creating and providing websites to my clients in my own web design agency. And you might be thinking that it's way too simple and that clients won't pay for this service. But trust me, they will. And if you use a good website builder, you really can produce amazing websites in half an hour or so. With that said, that is the 4-step process, starting from outreach to delivering your service. It really is that simple, guys. Like, honestly, a lot of people way overcomplicate what it takes to start a web design agency. You don't need any crazy technical skills. You can produce some really good and professional looking websites through website builders, and it only takes half an hour or so. Just as an added bonus, the way I was able to scale my agency up to 50K a month is by bundling other services with it. Now, I did start by just creating websites, but when I got to the sort of, I'd say 7-ish K mark, I actually started implementing other services alongside my website templates. That being reputation management, which is just a fancy way of saying Google reviews. I also incorporated a missed call text back system as well as SEO. Now, this is going to be a really long video if I go into all of those. So what I will do is we'll create another video on how I actually went about scaling my business. With that said, guys, I hope you understand that starting a web design agency isn't massively complicated or massively expensive, and that you can follow those exact 4 steps that I have to see success. If you have any questions, guys, let me know below and I'll get back to you. Thanks for watching.